You heard it. It's Van Halen, not Van Hagar. We are live. I would like to say good morning, but it really is good night. But we are here at Starbucks in Owensboro, Kentucky. So glad our listeners could join us and be a part of what is happening here in the big city, or what we like to call the metropolitan hub of the world.
Might as well jump.
You might as well jump. Wouldn't that be it?
Out the window.
So we're here. We're going to be in Matthew 19. The man, the lumberjack, on our website is going to be leading us in the divorce discussion. He's been divorced 4 times. Pending. His 5th one is pending. And the woman he's living with is not even his wife.
What was his last wife's name? Plaintiff?
Half.
But, we're going to get started on the discussion. So if you have any comments, questions, post to Facebook, OB Coffee Talk. Check out our website, obcoffeetalk.com. Check us out on iTunes for the podcast. Everything in life is OB Coffee Talk. Or you can Jesus on the main line, JOTM, baby. All right. Who's leading us onward to Matthew 19?
Seriously?
And we're back.
Oh.
All right.
Verse 4 does say he made male and female, not male and male.
Very
Just
true.
got the same.
Very true. Especially with as big as the topic is these days of civil unions and everything that's going on. God obviously designed it male and female. I like why he said that why he allowed them to divorce. It was because of you. It's because you have your heart's hard, and that's why you're gonna get. That's why it all happened. It's not for any other reason. It's because it was all your fault and because of sin. So.
All right. So verse 9. And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife except for sexual immorality and marries another commits adultery. So, is it not adultery if you if you get divorced because of sexual immorality and then you go marry somebody else? Is that not considered adultery?
Right.
Okay. Just wanted to clear that up.
What if who you married was divorced?
And whoever marries her is divorced, commits adultery. I think it's you would marry into an adulterous relationship, right?
It's so hard to say. You know, as much as I'd love to, talk all about the divorce situation, we, especially as Baptists, we harp on that so much. We get locked in a box, and we are locked in we make all these rules and regulations regarding divorce when it comes down to it, Jesus rarely talks about divorce. I think he talks about it twice. Matthew 19 and Matthew chapter 5 are the only 2 places he talks about divorce, and he talks about so much more. Yeah, it's somehow we can't get past the idea or the concept of it that if we look down upon him or we judge him. When it comes down to it, God forgives. And we all make mistakes. And we as individuals also have to be forgiving and loving just as he is. So, it's a tough topic. There can be a lot of gray line that comes in on it. So, I don't know.
I think it's because it's it's a common sin, and it's a public sin. Mm-hmm. And we're so good at keeping our sins quiet that the ones that you can't hold down, you can't suppress, become known. Those are the easy ones to talk about. Otherwise, if you knew everything I ever did, and I was divorced, you probably wouldn't talk to me about divorce. Or would talk about behind my back about divorce. But because you don't, and that's an easy one to pick up on.
Right. Yeah, it is, and the fact that it's more public makes it difficult, and we really will harp on public sin. I think that's why, especially with Michael bringing up homosexuality, and yes, it is a sin. It is a direct sin against, I believe, what God ordained it to be. But we condemn it so much that now everybody looks at us as judgmental, and that there's no hope. That there is no hope for you in that.
But you can wave the banner and get so focused on the one sin that you lose sight of the fact that you're trying to reach people for Jesus.
Right.
Because you can start developing hatred towards a focus of one sin that people don't see the love, and you can talk all you want about Jesus, but if you're focused too much on that right there, you're just not gonna see it.
That's a great point. That's a great point. So we do. I think we just get so focused on it. I think it's any outward sin too, because we don't. I mean, you don't hear anybody bash up at the gossipers, bashing the liars, or even the thieves. You know, we don't bash the people that are robbing from God, that don't tithe their 10%.
As long as you're telling me the rumors, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they come out, when they profess to be so, immediately people are going to try to find fault with them. So if I come out and say, this guy's saved, Brother Brad, thank you for being with the Lord. And this Saturday, you see me coming out of my range saloon. And there's going to be people from that when I show up at church tomorrow. I immediately try to find fault. I was in there drinking one night, but in reality, I was in there trying to witness to some of my prayers that I was with the weekend before I got saved. But they didn't see that. These adulterous affairs that have occurred in my life, man and woman are cheating on their spouse, they both get divorced, and then they come together. What kind of relationship is that? Where's the trust in their relationship? Always felt that in a way.
It started on a lie.
Yeah. So I trust.
What is it? Yeah.
I trust. You cheat on me.
Right.
Cheat on you last night.
And I think, especially when it comes to like just talking about divorce, or just talking about any public sin, that's where Christianity has got the judgmental stereotype, is that all Christians are judgmental, because instead of loving these people and helping them get back on their feet and get back to the rock of Jesus Christ, we continue to kick them further away from the rock. Oh, no, you can't do this. This is what you just did. I can't allow you to do this because of this. Instead of just loving them and moving them along and helping them progress in the sanctification process. Just because they took a step back doesn't mean they can't ever come back forward again.
We have a hard time, I think, as churches, as Christians. Because we have a hard time finding the middle ground. That is, you either are too tough on sin and you don't show the love that's needed to win folks for Christ, or we're too tolerant of sin and we don't preach about it hard enough. I think it's a very thin line. It's a perfect place there that we probably skip all over and dance all around, but never find the sweet spot. It's tough.
Yeah. And I think the other thing we got to be careful about is, so often we want to hold every person in our life accountable to the biblical standard. Well, if every person in your life is a Christian, that's okay. You can hold them to the biblical standard. But if every person is not a Christian, how can you hold a non-Christian to a standard that they don't even believe in? What they need to do is we need to get them to the love of Christ and let them see the love of Christ constantly. And when Christ grabs a hold of their heart through that love, then you can start holding them to the biblical standard. But so often we want to get them, it's got to be perfect first. And then you can come to Jesus.
That's the thing, like Harlan was saying, new believer, especially some sin they haven't been convicted of. They may be they're ignorant to some things, and I think that's where discipleship comes in.
After you end up measuring people, it's human nature to measure people against yourself. If I find myself, or I believe myself to be in a certain point in my walk, it's human nature to measure other people against yourself.
Yep, and that's why I hang around everybody here, because it makes me look good. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Dang, Michael's on a roll tonight.
That's what we do. If we measure people against ourselves, and what happens, we've got certain expectations for the way they should be. And then usually we're the ones going around with our feelings hurt because they didn't live up to our expectations, or they didn't even know what they were.
Yeah.
Right.
Been there too many times. It's what we're all about. It doesn't seem like people are getting it. But in reality, it was because it was me.
Right. And we have to understand is what might be a stumbling block for me and what might be a sin that I struggle with might not be a sin that Michael struggles with. And yet, but we expect him to do that. Or, let's just say, the music that we listen to or whatever the case may be. It doesn't, you can fill that in the blank for anything that's like that. That might not be convicting for me. That's not where God has convicted me in my life, but for Michael it could be convicting for him, and so all he listens to is positive, encouraging Caleb, and maybe I don't. And then he's like, why are you listening to that? You're just filling your mind with garbage. Well, maybe I'm just not there yet, and maybe through discipleship and through love, not constantly beating my head over. You need to break your cities. You need to have a burning session with Jacob Hunt in the backyard, the ditch, and get sprayed with a water hose, filthy people's yards. And so, wait, just got off on a rabbit there. Sorry, but
Forking the yards, the water hose, yes. But
we have to understand that everybody, and this is a hard thing, and we talked about this several times, is that everybody is not on the same level spiritually. There might be zero spirituality, and there might be abundant spirituality. But we have to be willing to meet people where they are.
So just so everybody is clear, a sin's a sin, but what we're saying,
right,
spiritual maturity is different in people.
Right. The process is like sin is sin no matter what it is across the board. But the process of sanctification and becoming more Christ-like is more evident in others than it is in some other people. And that is what discipleship is all about, is getting everybody to that point where they can, disciple effectively or be discipled. And that's that's huge. We just want everybody to be on the same level as us all the time immediately. What does the Casting Crown song say? What this world needs is not another one-hit wonder with an axe to grind, another two-bit politician peddling lies and all this stuff. Well, it goes on in there, and one of the parts that it says is God's got to change your heart before he changes your shirt. That's what it is. God's got to change your heart before he changes your shirt. Okay? So, what about that guy that shows up at church wearing a Budweiser shirt? What's the first thing that's going to happen the second he walks in? One, he's going to get the god-awful stares from some people. Why are we not going up and loving on him? Because we got to understand that the heart's got to be changed before the outside's changed. And so often we want the outside changed, and that's what I think I was getting at with the music, that we want the outside changed before the inside's changed. Well, see, that's the problem with the Pharisees is, he says, what's great is, on the outside you all look great, but on the inside you look awful.
The whitewashed tombs.
You're whitewashed tombs, and on the inside you're nothing but full of lies and deceit. And so often we can get that mentality because we think somehow we have gotten the notion that this church is such a holy place. And yes, it very well can be, but so holy that it changes people. So holy that people come in and they feel and sense that love, and they want to react to that. Jim Cymbala's church at Brooklyn Tavern